It's John Beaudin, rock history, music, and some sad news just before Christmas. Found out that Thom Bell, who I first knew by name as a producer for Elton John, and then I became curious why Elton John was not working with Gus Dudgeon, but was working with Thom Bell. And I went, Thom Bell, I know that name. And as I think I was 17 at the time, started researching, and boy, was I in for a surprise. He was 79 years old. No cause of death has been given. Bell's known for bringing, of course, the sound of Philadelphia to the forefront, along with producers, and here they are, Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. He's classically trained, began a career as a songwriter in Philly, and broke out with producers as a producer of the Delphonics. He produced a Grammy-nominated song, Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time? And in the 70s, there were so many hits. I mean, one after another. We're talking, like, I'm just looking at the main page here for La La Means I Love You, the Delphonics. Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time, as mentioned, Delphonics. Hey Love, Delphonics again. Stylistics, Stop, Look, Listen. Your Everything, Stylistics. Another one by the same band. People Make the World Go Around. Bet You By Golly Wow. I'm Stone in Love With You. The Spinners, I'll Be Around. Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Crazy, eh? One of a Kind Love Affair. Ghetto Child. Stylistics, Break Up to Make Up. Rock and Roll Baby, Stylistics. You Make Me Feel Brand New. I love that song by the Stylistics. Rubber Band Man, that's it, by the Spinners, which in the 70s was one of my favorite songs. I'm going to show you this picture again. Leon Huff is on the left, Thom Bell's in the middle, Kenny Gamble's on the right-hand side, and Gamble did give, let me find that for you. He said in a statement to Rolling Stone magazine, he said that they've been friends for 60 years. When we first met, we decided to start writing songs together and form a duo, which was Kenny and Tommy. And then our band, the Romeos, he said. He was a great talent and a dear friend. Rest in peace, buddy. He also added that his favorite musician, arranger, songwriter, and music producer of all time, that was him. And he said, rest in peace. When you consider, and if you just look up, like I said, when I was 17 years old, I didn't know producers that well outside of maybe Phil Ramone for Billy Joel or Gus Dudgeon for Elton John and a few other ones. But I wasn't really paying attention to that stuff because you don't get hungry right away. But after hearing and buying the Thom Bell sessions with Elton John, I just went, what? And then I started becoming, because of Thom Bell, started paying closer attention to R&B music and started realizing what I was missing out on. Again, no cause of death has been released, but what a man, like the sound of Philadelphia, right? And again, I'm going to go backwards on this list this time. I Don't Have the Heart, James Ingram. What a beautiful song that was. It's Going to Take a Miracle, Denise Williams. What else? Mama Can't Buy Your Love, as mentioned, Elton John. Are You Ready for Love, Elton John with the Spinners. Rubber Band Man, the Spinners. Again, one of my all-time favorite songs from that era. You know, I've been talking to a lot of producers lately, and I've got a few surprises coming up on this channel for producers and some amazing stories. But, you know, the producer is the guy, not always at the controls, because sometimes he has an engineer and/or, right? It happens. And sometimes there's a team, like Leon Huff, left, Thom Bell in the middle, and Kenny Gamble on the right-hand side. But what a powerhouse. Let me just read off some more songs. Against People Play, the Spinners. Then Came You with the Spinners and Dionne Warwick. Mighty Love Part 1, the Spinners. Stylistics, You Make Me Feel Brand New. What a beautiful song that was. Rock and Roll Baby, the Stylistics. Break Up to Make Up, another one, just one of my favorite Stylistics. Ghetto Child, the Spinners. Same band, One of a Kind Love Affair. The Spinners, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Think about the amount of songs. I'll Be Around, the Spinners. Stylistics, I'm Stone in Love With You. Bet You By Golly Wow, the Stylistics. Same band, People Make the World Go Around. And, you know, in the beginning was the Delphonics with La La Means I Love You, Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time, and Hey Love. Crazy, huh? I'm going to read some of your comments. I know this is, hey, Melody, you're first. Again, hi, Melody. Kelly Dean Small, thank you for this live chat. Thanks, Kelly. Odd Arverud sang the music. Merry Christmas from Sweden. Merry Christmas to you. And Kelly Dean Small with a big wave. You know, I don't like doing obituary tribute videos necessarily. And people keep telling me, why don't you do more of these when the folks are alive? Well, we're starting to do that on our sister channel, Rock History Book. But to look at the body of work, right? I just talked to Louis Sheldon, who lives in Queensland, Australia. And Louis was the main producer for Seals and Crofts, but worked with everybody, it seems, and was part of the Wrecking Crew. I was listening to his stories, and it reminded me that it's important. And I thought of contacting Thom Bell many times through the years, but you don't. But the music speaks for itself. And Louis Sheldon said that. You know, I said, why weren't you in the Wrecking Crew movie? And he said, well, I should have been, but I was one of the newer producers, but I wish I would have been. And the producers sometimes have the best stories because they're there. They're watching it all happen. They see the best and worst of an artist as an artist sees for them, right? But I'm going to run down the songs again because I'd be remiss if I didn't. A.W. Rogers, one of all-time harmonic visionaries. Very true and very well said. Floyd the Barber, What Sad News? The Sound of Philadelphia. He's easily one of my favorite subgenres of music. Well said. Smooth and slick. A.W. Rogers, Painful. Rick Tyndall, Thom Bell and Elton John didn't see eye to eye. Elton never liked to be told how to do things. Lots of classics from him, though. I didn't know that about Rick. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that about Elton John. Yeah, Melody R., I'm stone in love with you. Crazy, huh? A.W. Rogers. You should get Todd R. and Daryl on here. Yeah, harmonic visionaries. That's just so well said. Let me show you that. There you go. Leon Huff left, Thom Bell center, Kenny Gamble on the right-hand side. Let's go through these songs again. Like with the Delphonics, there was 3 main songs. La La Means I Love You, Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time, and Hey Love. Stop, Look, Listen, To Your Heart, The Stylistics. Same band, You Are Everything. Again, Stylistics. People Make the World Go Round. Man, I love that song. Bet You By Golly Wow. I'm Stone in Love with You. And then the Spinners, I'll Be Around. Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? One of a Kind Love Affair. Ghetto Child. Stylistics, Break Up to Make Up. Rock and Roll Baby. You Make Me Feel Brand New, which is, again, one of my favorites from the 70s. Again, the Spinners, Mighty Love Part 1. Then Came You, Spinners and Dionne Warwick. Games People Play, the Spinners. Rubber Band Man. You put that song on today. You put Rubber Band Man on today, someone's going to be tapping their toes. What a bass line that had, huh? You know, even people who didn't like R&B music loved that song. I mean, it just had something to it. Denise Williams, Silly. Also Denise Williams, It's Gonna Take a Miracle. And I Don't Have the Heart, which was one of the most beautiful songs that James Ingram ever recorded. Like, we tip our hat. Again, no cause of death. And at his age, you know, obviously it could be anything at 79 years old. But pioneer, producer, songwriter Thom Bell has died. Age of, as I mentioned, 79 years old. I'm going to read some of your comments. Thanks for coming on. And as we tip our hat to Thom Bell. Floyd the Barber. Hi, Floyd. They got the best out of Billy Paul. He was much more than me and Mrs. Jones. Sound of Philly guys brought it out of him. Robert Williams. Elton's Thom Bell sessions are different, but I liked it. Very good point. Good point. Because when I first heard it, like Mama Can't Buy Your Love, it's hard not to like that song. That had, speaking of Philadelphia, Philadelphia Freedom had one of those, when Philadelphia Freedom came out for Elton John, which was Gus Dudgeon, not Thom Bell. But when Philadelphia Freedom came on, Elton was singing in his lower register. Notice that? And I didn't recognize Elton John right away. But I mentioned Philadelphia Freedom because I remember Mama Can't Buy Your Love, to me, had a similar sound to it. There was just something a little different for Elton about it. And Philadelphia Freedom is still my all-time favorite Elton John single. Robert Williams, Elton's Thom Bell Sessions was different. Oh, I read that. A.W. Rogers. I got that already. Yeah. May he rest in peace. That body of work speaks for itself. You know, there's Thom Bell in the middle with Leon Huff on the left and Kenny Gamble on the right. And a handsome gentleman, but that's not why we knew him. We knew him because of what he could, you know, starting off as a songwriter and then liking being behind the controls. When I talked to Louis Shelton, which is the last interview I plan to do this year, from Queensland, Australia, he, as you know, he was the producer, produced all of Seals and Crofts stuff. And he started off as a member of the Wrecking Crew, playing with Glenn Campbell and all Hal Blaine and everybody else. And he told me Hal Blaine was a real character. But he said, once I began producing, I didn't really want to go back to doing that stuff. And he played on all the Seals and Crofts stuff. You look in the liner notes. This is not Thom Bell. This is just a producer thing I'm talking about. He played on all those songs as well, but he enjoyed being a producer, and that's why we're doing more producer stories on this channel. But I'm gonna go through them again one more time, and then I'm gonna read your comments, and then I'll let you get back to your Christmas stuff. Again, this is just producing and songwriting. Pass Me By, Patty Winston. 3 from the Delphonics, Lala Means I Love You, Didn't I Blow Your Mind, and Hey Love. Now we've got a few stylistics, quite a bit of hits. Stop, Look, Listen. Sorry, You Are Everything. People Make the World Go Round, Bet You By Golly Wow. I'm Stone in Love with You. Spinners, I'll Be Around. Could It Be I'm Falling in Love. One of a Kind Love Affair. Ghetto Child. And then the stylistics again. Break Up to Make Up, Rock and Roll Baby, You Make Me Feel Brand New, which is such a great song. Again, the Spinners, Mighty Love, Then Came You with Dionne Warwick and the Spinners. They Just Can't Stop. Oh, Games People Play. They Just Can't Stop It. The Games People Play. Rubber Band Man, the Spinners. Are You Ready for Love? Elton John with the Spinners and Mama Can't Buy Your Love. That's Elton John. Denise Williams, It's Gonna Take a Miracle, and I Don't Have the Heart, James Ingram. Just a highlight of some of the things that Thom Bell came up with. A lot of tributes are coming in, of course, because of when you touch people with that many hits, you get a lot of comments. You get a lot of... Rick Tyndall, Are You Ready for Love from the Thom Bell Sessions became a big hit for Elton in the early 2000s in England. I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me that. Appreciate that, Rick. Clinton... Rising, Philadelphia Freedom was my favorite Elton John song. Oh, Clinton, there you go. I liked it because I'd never heard Elton sing in that low register before. When he comes in with the first line, I remember going, is that Elton? But of course, that was Gus Dudgeon. That was not Thom Bell. Thom Bell came after that. So thanks, everyone, for coming on. I appreciate it. I know you're knee-deep. Everyone's knee-deep in either finishing up at work for Christmas, because it's just a few days away, right? But I don't say this enough. We're going to come on tonight for Friday Night Live, Shannon and I. We just want to know tonight what you're doing for Christmas and what are your Christmas traditions and what have you done in the past with your family for Christmas. Good and bad stories, because, you know, holidays with company, relatives, friends, it brings out the good and the bad in all of us. So at 9 o'clock Atlantic time, 8 o'clock Eastern, we'll be coming on tonight. Just make sure. Okay. Hayes Anderson says, rest in peace. Rick Tyndall, I'm an Elton John encyclopedia, unfortunately. I can't delete these files in my brain. Rick, you should actually, we're going to start, sorry, we're going to start interviewing fans for a big Elton John special that we're doing. And Rick, if you want to be on it, I can interview you. You don't have to, but if you feel like you want to be on, just email me at johnbeaudin@icloud.com, and I'll put you on. If you want to be on, because we're putting fans on. Having an encyclopedic mind for Elton John is good, and I've got interviews with a lot of players that play with Elton John, but I also want to get some fans on there, especially if you've got a good, clear memory of all your Elton John stuff. Chris Claremont. Thom Bell was one of the greatest songwriters, arranger, and producers of all time. Well said. Melody R. Wrapping Presents. There you go. Kelly Dean Smale. I can't make that out, but oh, you're waving? Yeah. Clinton. Rest in peace, Thomas Bell. Thanks, everyone, for coming on. It's always nice to tip our hats to someone. with such a body of work. And a producer is like juggling cats sometimes. It's a weird, difficult, arduous task. But you know what? I was a program director in radio, and when you're a program director, you're responsible for everything that comes out of the box, everything that comes out of the radio. If it's coming out of that, you're responsible for making sure announcers, music, everything, commercials, it's quality control for everything. When you're a producer, I'd say that's a much bigger thing, and you're dealing with personalities. I mean, you are in every job, but sometimes musicians can be difficult, and Thom Bell gave us a lot of hits. So there you go. If you're catching this, we don't have a cause of death. If you're just getting on now, he was 79 years old, and may he rest in peace. I'm John Beaudin. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and have a good Christmas. If you want to join us tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, we'll be on Friday Night Live. Shannon and I will be talking about Christmas traditions and also what you're doing this Christmas. We just want to check in. If you're available, I know a lot of people have families, but hey, take good care of yourself. I'm just going to bow out here. John Beaudin, Rock History Music. Love you guys.